covering spirituality, lifeways, and society, maintaining an attitude of hope and faith. This is the Truth and Life podcast, brought to you by Concise Consulting with Reverend Dr. C.E. McAdoo.
All right. Man, we about to get this thing started.
Yeah, let's get it started.
All right, so my name is Leron McAdoo.
And my name is Charlie Edward McAdoo. Reverend Dr,
Reverend Dr.
Yeah, you know how folks are.
So, man, what's on the menu today?
The menu is about life.
Okay.
And life brings with it
Truth.
Truth and life.
Truth and life.
And this, I want to make this real positive. What is positive? Because when you lose a friend and you're able to say something about them, up under all of what we ever say here, what's surrounding all of what we ever say here, always remember that friends are hard to come by. Mm-hmm. And when you lose one, it makes a difference. Mm-hmm. I lost a friend at his memorial service. I said I was not prepared to say anything. And all of his family and friends knew. He always talked about McAdoo this, McAdoo that. We had been friends for over 60 years. Mm-hmm. And I said I was not prepared. And I said that in the positive way because sometimes things can happen in our lives that we're not ready for. And tonight, I want us to talk about keys. I got some physical keys here. I did a Bible study recently on seeds. And I said seeds are used in a agricultural way just as they use in the spiritual way. And keys are used in a whole life way just as they are in the technical way. Mm-hmm. I'm not big on technology. I could do without this stuff. It don't make no sense to me. But we've got to get into that. And so I said, let's talk about something on tonight's podcast, Truth and Life, that deals with something most of us got all the time. And I'm sure even Leron, they probably got more sophisticated keys. Because this one will open and close. I can cut the vehicle on. I can cut the alarm on. I've got a SUV. I can let the trunk up. But they probably got some smarter keys.
Right.
But what I want to talk about on the keys tonight is, in terms of technology, let's not let persons who don't have a lot of trust in technology, let's not knock it aside. Let's try to parallel beside it. We may not get in front of it. But remember, at my age, I grew up with party line telephones. Mm-hmm. And so this key is an opener. So you say, wow, maybe there's some keys in my life that are openers. So I just kind of started off.
Wow. So 2 things. Mm-hmm. All right. So you started with friends.
Right. Then
keys. So I'll do a little something. I'll say a little something on friends, mm-hmm. and then I'll say a little something on keys.
Okay.
And I do recognize and have lived long enough to know that friends are hard to find. Mm-hmm. But I also have realized that you have different circles. And my Grow Life curriculum mm-hmm. talks about, and I even have done this in my classroom with students, different circles in your life. And the first circle mm-hmm. is the self circle. Mm-hmm. The next circle out from the self circle is the center circle.
Oh man, you're getting to it.
That's intimacy.
Right.
People that you trust. Mm-hmm. Outside of the center circle is the inner circle. Mm-hmm. The inner circle are the people you know. You grew up with them. They're your neighbors. You went to school with them. You've known them all your life, but mm-hmm. you don't trust them. So they're your inner circle because mm-hmm. you're personal with them, mm-hmm. but you're not intimate with them.
Right.
Then outside of the inner circle, you have the middle circle. Those are people that you are acquainted with, that you have name recognition with, face recognition with, and then you have the outer circle, which are those that you meet in public and you may or may not know them, have heard of them, anything. So I want to go all the way back to the self circle and center circle, because you get to choose your center circle.
Right.
You don't get to choose your inner circle, because your inner circle are those you're in family with, you're in relation and bond with, that you grew up with them, you're in the same hometown as them, you're here in Little Rock with them. But your center circle, your friends, I'm going back to friends.
Right.
The distinction between friends are you get to choose them. They're not by kin, they're not by skin, they're not by any other thing other than you two have decided on becoming friends. And your decisions are regulated by that relationship. You create that friendship. So that's the thing I thought about with friends. The main thing is you get to decide your friends. You don't have to be forced to have a friend or not. Now, your inner circle, those are people you're related to. Those people that are around you.
Right.
Your inner circle is different from your center circle. They're personal, but they may not be intimate. You may not trust them. All right, and so the second thing about keys, and keys are a powerful metaphor, because as powerful as this key is, and you just told me this key can open your door, can start your vehicle, can lock your doors, can open your trunk, can start the alarm, can do all those things, but it only works on one car specific.
Listen.
And so the thing about a key is, unless it's a skeleton key, it only has one lock that it can open. So you have to realize that you, I believe, are born with a set of keys that open specific doors. And you can only go through the doors that your key works for. And if you put two keys beside each other, for instance, my home key and this house key, I got both. I got a key to their house key.
Right. We gave it to them.
But if you just looked at the shape of the top of that key, the shape of the top of that key looks the same. But it's the bottom, the teeth, that are different. So you may think you have the key to every door, but you don't. Sometimes you have to rely on other people, and I'll combine the friend with the keys by saying, hopefully you decide on a friend group who has keys to the doors you can't open.
Man, and I'm so glad you broke that down in the two aspects that you did, because believe it or not, we don't rehearse none of this.
Right.
This all comes up as we come, because this podcast is not a one of influence, it's of truthfluence.
That's right.
And so we're not trying to influence you in any kind of way, but we're trying to bring truth into life. Remember, I started this whole piece about opening. But one of the openings is the opening that you don't have to worry about. And you said it, you didn't expound on it directly. You ain't got to worry about opening the family key, because you had nothing to do with who your parents are going to be.
That's right.
People go through this and go through that in terms of some parental dynamics. And I've been blessed with growing up, and I say this all the time because I've written a number of books, and people talk about people come from certain situations that they may have a better or less of an experience. But I had a two-parent home, grew up with that. Leron grew up with a two-parent home. So what I'm trying to say is don't ever look at a situation and say, well, what if I had both my parents? What if I only had one? And we just got through looking at a TV program a while ago there that talked about how this mother had worked for this family and done this and done that. We hear that all the time. So that's the key, is think about some of the doors that you didn't have to open. So if you think of it that way, you say, oh man, I'm here. I am here. I'm excited about being here. And then I guess the one opening that I want to really stress, because I was at a workshop today called Project Transformation. Craig O'Neill was there.
Okay.
And Craig talked about the 5 transformative periods in his life. But I wanted to say that to say this. Craig O'Neal is a local celebrity. He talked about how he wanted to be like Johnny Carson, and he's had a very great career. But the whole key to this part was what we want you to do tonight is get some truth. And part of the truth that I want to let you know is try to get bigger ears and smaller mouths. Bigger ears and smaller mouths. So open your ears up more. And so I know that for a lot of us, since we kind of playing off one another, it's not that he's waiting to say what he needs to say, but hopefully I tried to listen to what he said, because he threw out some key things. He talked about Grow Life, the book that he has. He talked about the situation of let me do both. Let me do the friend piece and let me do the opening piece. So I'm trying to listen. One of the things tonight, if I do nothing else, if you hear nothing else from me, hear that we want you to get bigger ears. A lot of that is part of the structure of making a living or making a life. Man, boy, they're two different things.
Those are.
Yeah. See what I'm saying is, to make a living sometimes is you just listen to get a job, or you just listen to get promoted, or you just listen to try to get certain advantages. But when you listen to get a life, it's a whole different world. Because that your listening is putting inside of you what you want your life to be. But if you're just listening just to get to make a living, I don't think I've told the story about how they trick you in the post office to tell a lie. Have I mentioned that on the podcast yet? In the post office, what they do when you first get there, you see these people going around picking up the blue boxes, and you know they start stealing. But to make a long story short, they'll put money in them, and they'll see if you'll steal the money. Never shall forget it. Up at the state capitol, man, it was a wallet. It had so much money in it. I didn't count all of it. I took the money. And then I waited when I went to work that next day in the post office. The way the old school used to be, we used to have to case our letters before we went out. Right before I went out, it was almost as if my supervisor knew. If I walked out of there without acknowledging that wallet, I was in trouble. I said, hey, his name was Sarge, somebody left this wallet up at the state capitol in there. I'm going to turn it over. Will you please turn it in for me? See, if I was just there to make a living, I might have even stolen it or done something with it, but I was there to make a life. I wanted to let him know, this is money don't mean nothing to me. You see what I'm saying? I got a job. So there was some older heads there that I know, I was talking to someone the other day, and we were talking about, and I know Leron's been part of some of that, because he went to live with my parents, where the older people would sit and talk, and you could pick up something. They may talk for 3 hours, but they may pick up one thing along the way. We ain't gonna go down everything this key does, but it goes on both ends. That's another thing I heard LeBron say. It can only open up one vehicle. Your one door. Your home key can only open up one door. And that brings me back to that other part of when we talk about truth and life. If you ain't got but one key, let's see, I said you ain't. Oh man, I should have said
That's
that.
good.
But I'm not an English professor. Help me, Jesus. If you do not have but one key, you better take care of your key. You better make sure your key is in good shape. You better make sure that key is able to open things for you in your life. Because the thing is, and I was blessed, and LeBron may relate to it more than once, I didn't kick him out of the house. But I knew when he got a certain age, he better get his own keys. I'll let you, if you want to talk this a little bit.
Yeah. So a couple things on what you just said that came to my mind. I love the word listen, especially after being an educator for over 30 years. You know, listen, learn, and lift. I think of those three things.
Good.
Listen, learn, and lift. And so I'll say that listening is a key. That's a key. So just in case you didn't have a key on your key ring before you start looking at this, I would say put this on your key ring. listen. I'll explain listening as simply being aware.
Right.
Be aware. Because I'm not simply talking about the physical act of hearing it attentively. I'm talking about looking. I'm talking about listening. I'm talking about being aware of who you're with, being aware of your surroundings, be aware of your decisions, be aware of everything that comes in your radius. Be aware. I think if you learn that and you put that key on your key ring, then that will allow you to be much better in making decisions wherever you are. And so that's one thing that I thought of. The other thing I thought of, I have at times, and you may relate to this, Daddy, lost my keys.
Yeah.
Or misplaced my keys.
That's right.
Or put my keys down somewhere. The crazy thing is, if somebody else finds your keys and it's in the wrong place, meaning it's maybe at a store or somewhere else, and somebody has come and it's away from your house, so they can't get in your house. They don't know that this key is the key to your office building, or in my case, maybe my school classroom door. Somebody else could find your keys, but they still wouldn't know what to do with them.
That's right.
Your keys, the very key that can open things in your life, somebody else could pick up your keys and not know what to do with them. You know, some of them might get lucky and your car still be out there. And either they try every key or they use the alarm and figure it out, and maybe they get away with it. I know some students who have taken people's keys, but a lot of times those students know what teachers drive what cars. So if you want to say get lucky until they get caught and they get arrested, some of them, and some of them get a little forgiveness. But I just want to say that even if somebody finds your keys, they still won't know exactly what to do with them, but you should know what to do with your keys. And I've also been guilty of having keys on my key ring that I didn't know what it went to.
Okay.
Well, sometimes I lost the door, the lock, whatever it was belonging to. I had lost what it belonged to. So be careful of your keys and recognize, one, what keys you have, and two, what do they open? The last part of that is always have a spare key. Told both my son, bless his soul, Norrell, and my daughter, and my students, I would tell them, man, always have a spare key somewhere. Maybe in your wallet, maybe outside of your residence. Whatever it is, always have a spare key. Spare car key is a little harder now with the way they make car keys now. But back in the day, I always had a spare house key and a car key. And I had it in a place where I could find it readily. And so if I ever locked my keys in the car, if I ever locked my keys in the house, then I would have a way in. Or if I ever lost my keys, I would still have a spare key. So that's just a life skill, grow life tip right there.
Leron McAdoo is a motivational speaker for educators, students, and parents.
If there is low morale of teachers, low effort and focus of students, or low engagement of parents, then let's get Mactivated. I'm Leron McAdoo. I'm also known as Ron Mac the Hip Optimist because of how I Mactivate people in education.
Leron McAdoo is a 30-year educator, a classroom practitioner, and a teacher workshop facilitator.
I've taught teachers how to be creative with their curriculum, build relationship, and manage the classroom. I've taught students how to find their purpose, monetize their talent, and prepare for adulthood. I've taught parents how to prepare their child, work with teachers, and how to look at education. My goal is to give students what they really need to be the best.
For the top educational motivation for the next generation, get Mactivated. Get Leron McAdoo. 501-350-6646 or mactivated@gmail.com.
Well, and I guess I want to move into another aspect. Talking about keys, man, everybody can relate to them because somebody has either lost them and somebody has even misplaced them, has had a situation where somebody's taken them. I think sometimes they even got new electronic features where you can find your keys. Because, I mean, it'd be the very time that I'm going to say I'm going to be where I need to be early. And so I got everything lined up. My wife, she's my spare key in one sense. Sometimes she'll get a little hesitant and she said, find your own key. I mean, she don't say it quite that low. She might just say, find your own key. Yeah, you know, and I kind of read through that. You know how you read, remember Truth&Life? You got to read through that. So if she's saying, do not get my key.
You got to be aware.
You got to be aware. So I guess what I'm saying is, we're talking something everybody can relate to. I want to go from opening to locking. We're using the vehicle as our example tonight. When we lock our vehicle, we're protecting it. So see, we should have locks in our life. Remember, I said bigger ears and smaller mouths. We ought to have some locks on our mouths. It should be some things we shouldn't say. It ought to be a lock to them. And part of that is it's a situational thing. Not only lock your mouth up, but you need to protect some things. You need keys. I'm trying to see how many times when somebody stole my battery right in front of the house, and then we've been burglarized
Many times.
Well, yeah, okay. And so what I'm saying is, you got some hoodlums out here. They will break into your property out, and you need to make sure you lock your stuff up. So once again, we're talking on a reality side, but also talking about on just a physical side. The reality is, if you don't lock stuff up, somebody will come and get it. And the other good part about that too, I'm going back to our keys. We got stuff locked up in us that only can come out when we need it to. And that's positive and negative. I don't want this to come out in a negative way, but sometimes we have been dealing with some stuff that we just got to get off our chest. And you got to unlock it.
So you're saying some things in us we just need to unlock.
We got to unlock. We got to unlock. And the thing is, the beauty of that, sometimes people say, man, I didn't know you had that in you. This is when you do something, you just profound. I don't want to put you on the spot, but could you do a quick rap for me?
A rap on
anything.
On anything?
Yeah, just I'll beatbox for you.
Okay.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. Well, anything, and I might say out. Me and my father sitting here on the couch, and I'm just doing what a brother oughta. Doing like his brother say. I'm looking at my water right in the bottle on the tabletop, and you know I'm from the little rock the block.
Bro, see,
Yeah,
you see how it come out?
I mean,
It had to come out.
Right.
So what I'm saying is, that's the good part. We may have to finish this key up another time. We've gone over our normal time. We talked about opening, and we're talking about locking. And that's the beauty of Truth&Life, is that you need to know in life those things that need to be open, and you need to know in life those things need to be closed. And see, I didn't get into the big relational piece, and you might want to say a quick word. It's not only you lock it up for yourself, it's some stuff. I'm LeRon's daddy. I'm glad to be his daddy. But him and his family lock some stuff up in their home. What I said is, it's a bedroom conversation. It don't come out. Or it's a front door, back door conversation. It's just for his house. So if you want to wrap it up, you can.
My final words are, I appreciate, man, the key metaphor is powerful. I've actually used it before. And so I like the 3 levels that I heard. One was open. The keys can open. One was keys can lock. And one was keys can protect. Wow. So I think that those are 3 things. And I just say this to relate it back to the self circle. The self circle and your identity, and this is a whole different conversation and a tangent. Identity is a construct.
Right.
I know you have this popular phrase going around about people presenting a certain way or projecting or people being performative. All of those are kind of popular now, and people have those schools of thoughts and may say that about somebody else. But identity is a construct, and it's all performative anyway. All of it's performative. That's why it's called mindset. You set your mind, and then you move toward that set so that you find yourself in that place that you set your mind to be. It's a forward thing, and you project that. You perform toward that. You know. So anyway, I would just say whatever you value as yourself, that's what you protect. That's what you're protecting.
We'll end with that, because I think in today's world, there are a lot of people who feel unprotected for a lot of different reasons. But remember, if you got your key, you can protect yourself. And that self-protection means you understand the dynamics of the legal system, you understand the dynamics of the job system, you understand the dynamics of the political system. In other words, that knowing who you are, that inner self protects you to make sure that your keys are always viable. God bless you.
Truth and life.
Truth and life.
When churches and organizations face real challenges, that's where Concise Consulting comes in. We help you move from uncertainty to clarity. For financial expertise, we help you conceptualize, manage, and maximize your budget. Our lead consultant oversaw multiple churches that contributed to mission work at a rate of 95%, and now your team can gain practical tools to plan stronger. For relational equity training, we help churches and organizations build cultures of understanding differences. For building and facility issues, Concise Consulting brings decades of experience to develop common sense solutions for complex facility challenges. For shrinking congregations, we help you navigate membership decline, tap into growing faith movements, and incorporate development strategies across multiple denominations. So how can Concise help you? Through on-site or virtual professional learning, coaching, and retreats, all customized to fit your organization. When you need advice, call Concise Consulting, 501-779-0649, conciselr@gmail.com, P.O. Box 55323, Little Rock, Arkansas 72215.